everybody. Welcome to this edition of the broadcast where we give you bite-sized bits of best practices to help you be a better leader and a more effective communicator. I'm your host, Gerard Braud. Recently, one of the viewers asked this question: is it better during a crisis to use a written statement, or should they use video for their statement? Well, this is a great question, and there are many variables involved. But here's the first thing to recognize. Written words can be cold. A written word, a written statement can be misinterpreted. But if the audience hears the intonation in your voice, if they can hear empathy, if they can hear care, if they can hear concern, the tonality of the message changes when they hear it. Add the next layer onto that, the visual. The fact that they can see your face and to know that there is concern, that there is empathy, that there is true caring. Audio is more powerful than written. Video with the combined audio is doubly more critical. However, it really depends on the size of your communication staff as to what you can produce in the way of content. Here's how I suggest you get through this. In the 5 steps to effective crisis communication, step 1 is a vulnerability assessment. Step 2 is your crisis communications plan. Step 3 is your pre-written statements. Then you have your media training and your drills. Your media training and your pre-written statements come into play at this point. 2 of the 5 steps to effective crisis communications. So what I mean by that is a pre-written statement can be edited in 10 minutes. It can be published to the web. It can also be read as a script to media who are standing by. That very same script can be read and recorded and posted to YouTube, posted to your website with an embedded link back to YouTube. It can be shared on Facebook. It can be shared on Twitter. That same script can be used and read for a Facebook Live video. It can be read live on Periscope to post on Twitter. It can be read live on YouTube. And in each of these platforms, you have the ability to convey empathy, to use your voice, and to let them see your face. If you're reading from a written statement, you must practice, because there's a strong likelihood that you will, 1, read too fast, and number 2, have your head embedded in paper too much. It's very critical that you learn to internalize lines, look up at the camera, deliver the line. Look back at the paper, internalize the line, look up at the camera, and say it, or look up at the live audience and say it. It takes a lot of practice to do this, which brings us to step 5 or step 3 is the pre-written statement. Step 4 is media training. In media training for a crisis, you really have to practice that concept of teaching your folks how to read from a statement, look up at the camera, and then how to answer questions afterwards. And drills, step 5, are a perfect way to put everybody to the test after they've done their media training. It is not an easy skill set. It's critical. It's part of your job. It's certainly part of the spokesperson's job, is to be able to read from the statement and make eye contact and give us the necessary empathy. The last thing you want to do is sound monotone and make it sound like you're reading this. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all of the people who have been affected. That's not how we do it. It's got to be, our hearts are heavy with the news we have to share with you today. And we want you to know that we're sending our love and our prayers to everybody who is affected today. Yeah, I'm overacting. Hey, if you know me, that's what I do. Nonetheless, video and audio are more powerful than a written statement. This is also why I suggest doing media interviews when you have a crisis, because the media, TV, needs the video and they share it with the audience. But those in print and on web also want to hear your voice, because your voice is your giveaway as to whether or not you truly care about your audience, just like I care about you. For the broadcast, this is Gerard Braud.